Welcome to the 10x Factors interviews, where we speak to high achievers on what they do differently to get amazing results in their work, business, or investments. This episode is brought to you by the 10xfactors.com, which is a resource for employees, entrepreneurs, and investors who want to grow their income using smarter and better strategies. If you're an employee, you will learn how to get noticed, get promoted, and get paid more by building real value, not just by working longer hours. If you're an entrepreneur, you'll find ways to scale your business using systems, AI, and special strategies so you can leverage on technology and teams, reducing your workload and grow without burning out. And if you're an investor, we share practical ways to earn higher returns using tech, better risk management, and informed decision making. So everything we publish is based on proven strategies and real results from real people. So if you want to earn more, work better, and make smarter decisions, visit the 10xfactors.com and start today. Today's guest is Jacy Wee. She is the Executive Director of Globe Success Learning Center Berhad. As a transformational coach who specializes in self-leadership and emotional mastery, Jacy's passion is to empower individuals to uncover hidden money blocks that impact their business, relationships, and self-worth. Welcome, Jacy, to the show. I want to ask you one thing. How do you empower individuals to uncover the hidden money blocks in their lives?
Okay. Thank you, Sandy. That is a very powerful question. And one of the things that I have observed in over 20 years being in the personal development industry and also being a transformational coach is that it really takes us to have a honest look at ourselves, at our own reality box, right? And one of the things I realized is that with this knowledge, it requires us to elevate our level of consciousness, right? Because when we choose to deny, right, out of shame, maybe out of the need to look good, right? When we choose to deny where we are at in terms of our money or in terms of our relationships, we are actually giving our power away, right? And there are times when we may feel that people, opinions, situations, expectations, economic conditions, these are the things that will affect us, right? And we find that we may not have control over our money, over our relationships, or over how we create success in our lives, right? So it's really about creating awareness before change because you can only change what you can see. So the
So,
biggest thing is to notice.
So what I'm hearing is that maybe a person's situation is caused by his what he's thinking in
Mhm,
his mind,
mhm.
not that the situation doesn't allow him to be where he wants to be. Am I
Ex-
right?
Exactly, right? Because we are all dealt with different cards, right? But we are holding those cards in our hands. We still choose which card we want to put down and what we take. That is still our choice, and that's where our power lies, right?
But
But most of
why is it that some people don't pick out the right cards?
now, some of them say, oh, it's luck, right? Right? Or, it's just situations. And yeah, I just don't have that kind of luck. But if you look at it, if you start talking in a way where you feel like you're the victim, right? I don't have that kind of luck. That's already giving your power away. Okay? Like someone else has control over my money. That's giving your power away. Complaining, excuses, justifying, right? Our current conditions on why we don't have the power to do anything else to change, that is already giving our power away. So you're giving your luck away. So if you notice successful people, they have a very different language that they use, right? They talk about attracting opportunities. They talk about it doesn't matter what economy you're in, right? Business will always come. So if you look at it, that's what they create in their reality.
So rather than giving excuses, complaining, and not taking responsibility, they own up to it
Mhm.
and say, okay, this is actually me. I'm the problem. I need to resolve this.
Exactly.
I'm not depending on other people to do it for me, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's taking ownership of the mistakes that we have made. yeah, I know I made a wrong decision, right? Or I made the best decision. Instead of saying I made the wrong decision, I made the best decision that I could at that point in time with what I knew.
So how do you then bring this out from them? I
Hmm.
mean, a lot of them don't realize
Hmm.
they themselves are the problem, right?
Right.
So what do you do to bring it out from them?
Right. In my experience, there are two ways that I find this very effective, right? One of the ways is through games, right? And that's what we do in our Money and You environment. From the games that we play, we put people in certain situations that brings out their automatic behaviors around money, how they make their decisions, especially when their emotions are high or when they are under pressure, right? That's the time we make the most critical decisions. And if we are affected by our emotions in a disempowering way, then we make decisions that cost us money, that cost us time, that cost us relationships,
So
right?
the program is called Money and You,
The program
and
is
then
called.
you play games, you said,
That's right.
that make them do things that they are not conscious of,
Hmm.
that you recognize, which you then feed back to them for them to learn.
Exactly.
We put them in an environment where they exhibit the behavior that are actually holding them back, right?
Exactly. So these
Okay.
are unconscious behaviors that they'll start to discover. And because it is the result that they create, they cannot argue with that result, right?
You
So
guys
what we
point it
do is
out to them.
we point it out to them, we
Basically,
reflect.
this is what you did wrong, and this is what you need to do to make it right.
Mm. I would say it's not what they did wrong, but what they did, right? So I will look at it as the market is giving you feedback, right? This is your result. This is what you did. Does this serve you in order to keep you on track and on purpose towards your financial goals, towards your relationship goals, towards business success? You decide, all right? And then we share with you the wealth building principles and the success principles in Money and You for you to make a different decision. So you can use this as a tool, right? We encourage you to practice. You may still make mistakes, and then you do the course correction, right?
Right.
So it empowers that person and it gives them choice.
Can I ask which comes first, the
Mm.
money first or relationship first, or are they somehow there's a different order to it?
In what context would that be? Money.
As in someone who is not where he wants to be financially,
Mm.
what would the possible problem be? Would it be because he is not ambitious enough, or could it be because he has some issues at home with his significant other, or with his children, or with his parents, or
Mm.
could it be a combination of all of that?
Mhm. I would say the first place to look at is yourself, right?
What am I looking for?
What am I looking for? Is looking at your own money beliefs, right? Because relationships would likely just amplify that. It will amplify what is already there, right? So if you already have money blocks, even before getting into a relationship, the relationship will likely, it's like putting it under a microscope or magnifying glass. You can see it even more because now you are in a relationship, you're going to need more resources, right? So it would just bring out more of maybe the insecurities, or someone could have had some trauma around money, like they were betrayed, they were cheated, right? Or there's a lot of violence in the family that had to do around money. So this energy around money is already disempowering the person even before the person got into a relationship.
So then the cure or the solution is basically to look at himself again.
Yeah,
That's the core of the whole.
that's the core.
That's the core, right?
That's the
Fix
core.
that and you fix almost everything around you.
Yes. A lot of time people look outside for strategies like, okay, how do I make more money? How do I
Yeah.
generate more income? How do I create multiple streams of revenue and things like that? And that is everything outside. But guess what? As many revenue streams that you may have, you are still the common denominator in making those money decisions, right?
And you give them the clues, or
Mm,
you teach them the concepts and the principles on how to make the right decisions.
that's right.
Okay.
Right. So when they get to see what is hidden, like what is underneath the iceberg. There are blind spots. What they cannot see, they cannot see. What they don't know, they don't know. It will continue to drive their money decisions, just like, a virus in the computer. It's working in the background until such a point you have a total shutdown,
Right.
right?
Can
Yeah.
you give an example of some of the things you guys do to make the person do better in that aspect
Mm.
as far as it relates to himself or herself?
Right. So as I mentioned, one way is, experience the money you program themselves, because that's where they really get an experience of seeing where they are right now, right? What they're doing that's not serving them, and what they can do that would actually empower them with the principles that we teach in Money and You. Okay. Another way is through coaching, right? It's uh it's having the conversations around where you may be stuck in the area of generating wealth for yourself or even your family, the money conversations. From there, we can sort of predict the future in a way from the language that you speak, right?
This
And to
conversation
shift.
you will have with them,
Yes.
all right?
Yeah.
So basically on some almost like a one-to-one basis.
Oh, no, more like a one-to-one basis. Yes.
Wow, okay. Then you go quite deep as well.
We will go as deep as they are ready for, right?
Right,
Some people are not ready to go deep because it could be a scary journey for them.
right.
Yeah.
Or you can go in stages.
Yeah.
So they
Yes.
gain more and more clarity
Yes.
on what they need to do.
Mhm.
Then they trust themselves more and more, I guess.
Mm,
And then
yes,
they can take the next step.
exactly. So you
Right,
mentioned something really important, that is trust, right?
right.
And if you look at it, if you were to ask yourself, do I trust myself with money, right? Do I trust my partner with money, right? And you
If
just start to see what comes up.
if the answer is
Mm.
yes, even though it's a no,
Then they are in denial, right?
how would you know they're in denial?
It's the little nuances that you can sort of pick up, right? If the person, wants to look good, it's no point. Then I would say don't even come for a one-on-one coaching, or there's no point you going further if you want to say yes when it's actually a no. But when you can say it's really a no right now, I'm stuck. Yes, I have felt some shame around this. It's not something that's easy for me to talk about. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your environment that you grew up, money conversations could be a taboo, right? So if you're in a family environment where you don't talk about money, or you talk about money in a very disempowering way, the whole generation, after you is going to have those money blocks. They are going to struggle with money. And
Right.
that's the habits, that's the beliefs you're passing on to them, and they're going to suffer unless they change their mindset. They do something to shift, to increase their level of consciousness and to break free of those disempowering money beliefs.
Okay, that is good to know. But
Mm.
how do you break down the resistance to accepting the new path forward? Because a lot of people are very resistant to change.
Mm.
They don't want to change.
Right.
No matter what you say, they
Mm.
they know they have to do it, but for some reason they just don't want to do it.
Mm.
Then how do you deal with that?
Yeah. As we say in Money and You, for things to change, first I must change, right? And you have
Mm,
to decide for yourself. If you want to choose to be resistant and still be in denial, that's up to you. I would say suffering is a choice. You can continue to suffer silently, or suffer complaining. You continue to suffer, right? And sometimes people need to go through that kind of pain in order to say, I'm not going to take this shit anymore, right? Excuse the language. But it's like,
right, no
let's
problem.
get real here,
Yeah.
okay? And sometimes it may take you changing your circle of friends, getting out of your current environment where you're stuck in that conversation,
So
right?
even though you're playing games, yeah,
Mm.
this is actually not a game. This is basically your life.
This is your life.
You really need to take full
Exactly.
control and take full responsibility for it,
Yep.
right? And
Mhm.
if you don't want to change, then nobody can help you.
Yeah, nobody can help you. You can't
Right.
force someone to change, but you can inspire someone to change, right? So if you are in that environment and you say, I'm not going to take this anymore, I'm going to take my power back and I'm going to change the direction of my life and my family, right? I'm not going to subscribe to whatever, the previous generation has laid down for us. I'm not going to subscribe to that. And when you can actually do that, you can make a difference. You can change the money conversation in your life and in your relationship.
Okay, so some of them will have the breakthrough. Then the next
Mm,
steps, who
mm,
is going to guide them?
mm,
Okay, now they realize, okay, this I need to do this.
mm,
I need to change. Then who's to guide them on the right path,
mm.
on the step-by-step basis, sort of.
Now, some people, they get clarity, they can do it on their own, right? Some people, they do need guidance, right? And fortunately for us in Money and You, is a lifetime membership. So you can keep coming back again and again. And it's just like, just imagine that this is your money cup. And this is all that you can currently hold, right? All the wealth that you can currently hold. Your ability to make money, keep money, and grow money is as big as this cup, right? And this is what you discover in Money and You. For some cups, they may have leaks and the money just comes out.
They
For
may have
some,
leaks they
mm,
don't realize.
they don't realize,
Right.
right? What keeps them broke? That's something that they realize in the program. What keeps them broke in personal finance or in business finance, right? For some people, they may have a lid on their cup. So when money wants to come in, they feel they don't deserve it, the money cannot go in. So every time I got no money, not enough money. That's the conversation. So what Money and You does, or being in a community that has healthier conversations or more empowering conversations around money, is that you start to expand your cup, right? You work, you do the inner work on deservability, your own self-worth, right? So this is a lot of things that's very unconscious. And as a couple, it's so, so important to do this work together, right?
Not just a couple, right? I
Not
mean,
just a couple,
family,
family.
children, parents,
Yes.
because you see the clarity, they don't. And then you go
Oh,
back, it's the same thing again.
yep,
The
the same
conflict is
thing.
always there. So if they don't themselves change or see the reasons why you are changing,
Mhm,
then you again will be unhappy and even though you want to change,
mhm,
right? And they will, add to the resistance again.
mm,
Right. What else should a person be aware of? Because you talk about
mm,
you're not aware of the things that you are not aware of, right?
mm,
Which is a very good realization to have for a lot of people.
mm.
Because some people say, I know everything. If I don't know anything, then I think I can find out, but sometimes you don't even know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Right. So what other things can you do to help
Mm,
someone in that situation?
mm. Thank you. Now, there are some people who say, I read books, I use ChatGPT or Mr. Google, I can find out everything, right? Yeah. So those are likely the how-tos. Okay. It And like this cup I mentioned again, right? You can know as much how-tos as possible. But if your cup cannot handle putting those how-tos into application, your cup remains the same, right? I
Meaning
will share.
you don't take
Mm,
massive action.
yeah, I mean, or you take action, but it doesn't generate the same results as what that mentor say. You follow this strategy, definitely you get the results that you want. So you follow. But because your cup is the same, you cannot apply it in the same context that the mentor has shared with you
Right.
because your cup remains the same. Until your cup expands, then suddenly like, oh, now I really believe that I can apply it and get the results from it.
Okay.
Okay. I'll share with you a true story. Now, when I first began my journey 20 years ago, I absolutely hated sales. I hated it to the core.
You hated what?
Sales,
Okay.
selling.
Oh,
Okay.
sales. Okay. Right.
So when I have a sales block, I have a money block. I have a communication block. I had so many blocks I had to work on, right? My mentor said this to me. He said, JC, take this book. It was all about sales, the art of selling. I diligently read every single page in the book, right? I tried to practice the principles that was taught over there. It didn't work, right? Until I shifted my mindset around sales, I started to see what was the trauma I had around sales, which happened when I was very young. And I started to clear that trauma, to heal from it. I went back, I read the exact same book. I applied the principles. It worked.
When you say you have a trauma, meaning you were
Mm.
scared or
Yeah,
you hated sales, that's your trauma.
yeah. So because I didn't know why I hated sales,
So
right?
why
So
did you hate sales?
yeah. So why I hated sales was something that happened when I was very young. I was about 7 years old, right? My brother and I were at home alone, parents not around. And then a salesperson came to our door, right? He was selling the gas hose, right? He made a fantastic pitch about how you will save your family if you change to this horse and da da da. So I thought I did my family a huge service, right? I saved the day. When my parents came back, I was so excited. I told her about it, and then I got scolded. I got scolded for letting a stranger come in and cheating me out of the money, then buy something that cost so much, which doesn't even cost that much, probably one third the price. And I didn't know at that point in time, I formed a negative belief about salespeople, that they're all out there to cheat me of my money, that they're unscrupulous. And that was running in the background, I was unaware of, right? Until I played the game,
Hmm.
until it brought it into the surface. And now it's like it's looking at me in the face, like, all right, what do you want to do with this? Right. So I did the inner work, the healing. So it's so important to do the healing around money. If you have negative energy around money, you've got to do the healing around it. If you don't, it will drive every single decision in your life. It will affect your relationship, your business, everything.
So it's all down to clarity. You know what's the block, remove that block, and
Remove
then
that block.
but a lot of people don't know what the blocks are, and that's what you
Exactly.
guys are doing to surface it for them.
Exactly. So like
Oh,
if you want a 10x, go look for people who can help you in that area. Right? You will accelerate your journey. You will save a lot of time, energy, and effort, right? By learning from someone who's already gone through it, who has and can share that success principles with you. That will accelerate your result.
but it must be willing to be coachable.
Yes.
If you're
Willing to
not
be coachable. Yes.
coachable, not teachable,
Exactly.
nobody can help you, right?
Exactly. So if you have the, oh, I already know this, I already
Yeah,
read this, don't come. Continue doing what you want to do.
yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's good. Anything else that
Mm.
someone who thinking of joining Money and You should think about?
I would say really do a reality check, right? Um, if you're feeling like an emptiness inside, that's one. If you're going through inner struggle, that's another one, right? If you're not creating the results that you want, right? Wherever you are at right now in life is where you needed to be up to this point, okay? And now you can make a different decision, right? What am I going to do differently that's going to create the ideal life that I want to live?
So clarity, once you get it, make that change.
Mhm.
And what change is that? Is based on what you know now that you need to change.
Mm.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much, JC, for your experiences and your explanations on how you know there are a lot of blocks in a lot of people that are holding them back.
Mm.
And as a result, they can't fulfill their capabilities, right? And some most of the time they don't even know what's causing it,
Mm.
right? And they are blaming everybody else. They're blaming the environment. They're blaming everybody else except themselves. So they take no responsibility. So it's a kind of a tough pill to swallow at times for them because it's blaming themselves, right? It's like saying I'm the one at fault. Some people can't, they're not able to take that lightly. So they don't want to blame themselves. It's easier to blame other people because there's no control over the other people's actions. But they can control what they do, just that they don't want to blame themselves
Mhm.
or take responsibility for a better word. So okay, so thank you so much
Sure.
for sharing. I think there's a lot more to learn from you as well. I'd like to thank Jacy Wee for sharing her wisdom on how we can uncover hidden money blocks in our business and relationships. For those of you who are interested in what Jacy is doing, you can learn more about her by going to fb.com/jacy.wee. That is facebook.com/jc.wee, or go to our website at globesuccesslearning.com. And you can find out more about the Mining You program there. I think she has a deal for some of you who are listening. I will put some of the information below as well. And by the way, if you would like to be a guest on this show, we are looking for high achievers with your own insights to share that can increase the earnings of employees, entrepreneurs, and investors. You can get in touch with me at senzi@the10xfactors.com. Okay, see you in the next episode. Okay, bye-bye.